Welcome back. My name is Steve032, former drummer of Sum 41, current drummer in my basement. Today, I thought we would talk about some of the music that influenced the band, particularly in the early days. Some people were asking me what our influences were, and I thought I would just do a video about it. Now, we were into tons of different styles of music. We loved 80s hip hop. We loved 80s metal. Huh? Not now. But the main influence, the foundation of Sum 41 was 90s punk. And in my opinion, the 90s had some great punk music. So I will go over 10 albums that influenced the band as well as my playing. But first, in the spirit of punk rock, I want to thank today's sponsor, Jackpot World. Jackpot World? Ooh, I like the sound of that. Yeah, it's a fun, free, and entertaining game for iOS, Windows, and Android that puts the authentic casino experience right in the palm of your hand. Ooh, tell me more. I've been known to play a little bit of one-armed bandit. And new downloaders will get 6 million free coins when they join using the link in the description. You can also use the gift code Steve032 to get $100 worth of free coins. Now that's a bargain. And the game is updated all the time. All the time? All the time. With new slots released every week, free coins can be collected in the game for anyone every 15 minutes. So it's just slots? No! There are tons of mini games like Monopoly, Feeding Pets, and Bingo. Ooh, I love Bingo! Look at the beautiful in-game design! There are over 300 slot games ranging from Oriental themes to Western mythology. And there are tons of social slots as well, like Gold Blast and Cleo's Secret. Ooh, Cleo's Secret! Now you've got my attention. So where do I go to pick up this thing? There's a link in the description below. And new users get 6 million in free coins when they log in. Use the gift code Steve032 to get $100 of free coins. All right, back to the show. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go through these albums in chronological order by release date. Number 1 on the list, 1991's debut album for Pennywise, also called Pennywise. Now, this album came out when I was 10, so I definitely didn't discover it then. I didn't know what punk was. I didn't even really know what rock was. But I discovered it around 1994 through a snowboarding video. The song was No Reason Why. Byron McMackin's drumming was so fast, and one of the things that helped me become a faster drummer was playing along to these records. Some key songs, the song Pennywise, which is about the clown Pennywise. How you feeling? How you fear? Turn around, Pennywise here! And then of course, Bro Hymn. Which is like the bro punk anthem. I can't count how many times I've been on stage and sung along to that. If you are in the vicinity when they start playing Bro Hymn, you better get your ass on stage or there will be consequences. Another fun fact about Pennywise, I met my wife backstage at a Pennywise concert in Las Vegas. My wife was an audio engineer who worked on the Pennywise About Time record. Who says romance is dead? You can find love, folks. You just have to look backstage at a Pennywise concert. The next album on this list was absolutely massive. It went off like an atomic bomb, which is featured on the cover. It's an amazing cover. This is Green Day's Dookie. It came out in 1994, and I remember stealing the cassette tape off of my older sister, amongst other albums that I stole off of her, including Wham! Make It Big. But we're not talking about George Michael today. We're talking about Green Day. This album was so big, and I remember at the time there was a lot of dark grunge happening, and this was kind of a breath of fresh air. It was a little bit more catered to my personality, where it's like a little bit more fun, a little bit more tongue-in-cheek. But the songs were also rad. I mean, Longview was such a massive single. The Basket Case video is also great. I thought it was hilarious then. I still think it's hilarious. And then for me as a drummer, the opening track, Burnout, with that solo by Trey. I mean, I don't think Trey gets enough credit, but when I heard that drum solo. It wasn't what made me want to play the drums. I was already playing the drums, but it definitely got me excited about playing the drums. Dookie was also produced by Rob Cavallo, who was the first person who tried to sign Sum 41, and we almost did. For whatever reason, it fell apart. I don't know why. But the engineer to that record was Jerry Finn, whose name is going to come up a lot in this video. Jerry did All Killer No Filler, but then he also did several other records that I'm going to talk about today. His career took off when Dookie blew up because he was the engineer. The next album on the list also came out in 1994. This is Offspring Smash, which was absolutely massive. It's got great singles.
Gotta keep them separated.
But my favorite song, still might be my favorite Offspring song, is the Ode to Road Rage Bad Habit.
Yes, I got a bad habit.
I remember listening to that song as a 12-year-old kid in Canada. People are doing this on the highway in California. Oh, I gotta move there. That break at the end, you stupid.
Dumb shit, goddamn motherfucker.
It's so awesome. That's a good song. And I will say, there are only 2 men I've ever open mouth kissed in my life. And one of them is Noodles. The next album on the list, also 1994. If there's one year that is responsible for Sum 41, it's 1994. The next album on the list is NOFX Punk and Drublick. Like, this is probably the most influential one. It's got so much cool shit. Linoleum is like one of the best songs they've ever written. The Bruise, Lori Myers, Don't Call Me White, Punk Guy, which has no similarity to any Sum 41 song whatsoever.
Hell, he's even more punk than me.
He should have been on the cover.
He's not for me.
It's my dance time.
We wouldn't do that. The foundation of Sum 41's drumming is NOFX. I played all those songs. That's how I learned how to play the punk beat. If you listen to Sum 41's albums, it's smelly. And then anything flashier is, I'll mention who that is later. Okay, we're gonna jump out of 1994 into 1995. Now, this album, I don't know if there's like a direct musical influence, but we were definitely listening to this album a ton. I think it has some of the best melodies out of any punk rock band. Also produced by Jerry Finn. This is Rancid's And Out Come the Wolves. I mean, such a massive album. Time Bomb. Ruby Soho, so many big singles, but so many great B-sides and like deep cuts. The opening song has a bass solo in it. Like, this might just be my bias, but it's one thing for Green Day to start their record with a drum solo, but a bass solo? I mean, how many people are like, oh, a bass solo? Tell me more. I think the only instrument that gets shit on more than the drums is the bass player. But Matt Freeman is that good. In fact, I covered Maxwell Murder with my buddy Mick Francis on Instagram a few months ago, and here's the video. Such a great album. So, some key tracks. Obviously, Maxwell Murder, Roots Radicals, Time Bomb, Ruby Soho, but also probably my favorite song, Olympia WA. Such a good song.
Hanging on the corner on 52nd and Broadway.
Daly City Train and Old Friend. Great melodies. Rancid was also on that 2001 Warped Tour. Tim Armstrong was really nice. And they're kind of scary looking dudes, but he was always so nice. He would always come and say hi, really approachable. Lars Frederiksen, bit of a prickly pear. I never quite cracked Lars, but that's okay. I'm not for everyone. All right, moving on. The next one on the list, also from 1995, is I think our only Canadian installment. This is Gob's Too Late No Friends.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
I remember being a kid watching Much Music, which is Canada's MTV, and they would play these videos by this band called Gob. The most classic Gob video is Soda. Like, it just looks so fun.
I want to jump in a lake.
And Tom's entrance on the bike is awesome.
Like I knew that you would come to me.
it almost like gave us hope that it could be done, because we're a band like that. They have a music video on TV. It is possible. And then when Sum 41 took off, we started taking Gob on tour with us. Some of my favorite memories of touring back in the day are Sum 41 Gob tours, because they were so funny. Theo is like a giant cartoon character. Those were I think some of the most fun tours we ever did. And then when Brown Sound quit Sum 41, to our surprise, Tom auditioned, and he's been in the band probably longer than I was ever in the band. So Gob, I don't know, I love them. I have a special place in my heart for Gob. I'm sure a lot of the Canadian people watching this will know them, but if you haven't heard of them, check them out. Still staying in 1995. Now, this album was influential, especially in the early years, and it was one of my favorite records when I was a teenager. This is Lagwagon's Hoss, which has one of the best album covers. If you haven't heard it and you like that SoCal punk Fat Records sound, this record has it all. Some key tracks, Kids Don't Like to Share, Violins, Sleep, and the song Rifle, which has an amazing drum pattern in the intro. All right, the next record, 1997, Blink-182's Dude Ranch. We love that album. It's got so many great songs. Pathetic, the opener. If you haven't noticed, I like a good opening song. Damn It, the single, was massive, and I think still one of the best Blink-182 songs. And then A New Hope, a song about Star Wars. I'm like, these guys are nerds. I'm a nerd. This could work. Well, I love that. I love their sense of humor. And the funny thing is that this is the only album we ever really listened to by Blink-182. This is pre-Travis. We weren't hugely into Enema of the State, also produced by Jerry Finn, and that was like the biggest album ever. We like Dude Ranch, and I gotta say, it was one of those albums that we listened to a ton in 1997, and then we kind of stopped listening to it. I haven't listened to that album until today. When I went through it again, I'm like, these are some cool songs, and they bring me back. Also, Enema of the State came out in 1999. I think the best punk album that came out in 1999 is this one. And I will do an entire cover of it soon, because people have been asking, and I will do it. This, in my opinion, is the best punk album from the 90s. But I already mentioned their other albums, so we'll just leave that there. Anyway, getting back. It's now 1998. We're getting towards the end of the decade. So the next album, interestingly, we didn't even get into until around 2000, but it was recorded in 1998 by Jerry Finn, who was producing Sum 41's All Killer No Filler. And he's like, hey, you guys might like this record I did a few years ago. And it was the Vandals, Hitler Bad, Vandals Good. When we did that first 2001 Warped Tour, where we met Pennywise and Rancid and NOFX and Lagwagon, the Vandals were also on that tour, and we became really good friends with them. If Smelly from NOFX was the foundation of Sum 41's punk drumming, Josh Freese and also Brooks Wackerman's work with the Vandals was the next level up. Like, that's what I was aspiring to get to. So that, for me personally, was hugely influential. And this album has the best songs, I think. People That Are Going to Hell, Cafe 405, My Girlfriend's Dead, Sandra I Know, Huh, Ape Drape.
Crazy pills are all we need. Some may call it child abuse. I just call it funny with your dad. I've got an ace.
And a fun fact, when they released the album in Japan, the Japanese were like, we can't put Hitler Bad Vandals Good. And they're like, I'll just make up a name. So in Japan, that album is called Ice Cream Treat Inside. All right, the last album on the list, Refuse the Shape of Punk to Come. I don't remember exactly when we discovered it, but I do know that going into Does This Look Infected, some of the heavier sounds were influenced by that album. It's so good. I think at one point we also even tried to get the guy who produced that album to produce Does This Look Infected, but it didn't work out. But I loved this record. The drumming's amazing. The riffs are amazing. So if you haven't heard this album, definitely check it out. I'm sure many of you have. Some key songs for me, obviously the single New Noise is awesome.
Gotta scream! Yeah!
And then my favorite song, I'll do a cover of this song. I have to learn this song. I've always wanted to figure out the parts, is The Deadly Rhythm. I think the drummer's name is David Sandstrom, and it's just so good. It's so powerful, technical, but jazzy and fluid and heavy. Like, he's so good. All right, so that is 10 albums from the 90s. I do have one honorable mention. Beastie Boys' Ill Communication. It's mostly like hip-hop, I guess, but Sabotage, Tough Guy, and Heart Attack Man, the punk vibe, let's say. It's the vibe. And that album was huge. Like, that's Fat Lip. So I have to mention the Beastie Boys. I could probably do an entire video just on the Beastie Boys. But that's gonna do it for my video of 90s punk albums that influenced me, that influenced Sum 41 when we were starting the band. Let me know what you guys think. Did you like any of these records? Did I miss anything? What are the records that you guys liked? What influenced you when you started your bands? That's gonna do it for today's video. I haven't posted a straight Sum 41 video in a couple weeks, but the next video, I promise you, I'm going way back to early Sum 41 history. So I'm going to start doing that again. Thank you for putting up with my first ad. I appreciate you guys watching. My name is Steve32. Eat high, folks. I'm out.